Welcome. My name is Lydia Miller, and I'm the Director of Religious Education here at the Amarillo Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. And I'm so happy that you are joining us wherever you may be. We are an inclusive congregation that welcomes you as you are, inclusive of all your identities, complexities, and situations. We welcome your whole self, even if it isn't fully formed, because we recognize that we are all a work in progress and we are all in this together. Please join me in our opening affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. For these high purposes do we unite in worship.
This morning's chalice lighting words from Reverend Adele, Nash of Romania. We light this candle of love because love is the essence of being, the driving force of our deeds and feelings. We light this candle of faith because faith is what helps us feel strongly connected to the divine presence, and our common shared faith binds us all together. We light this candle of truth so that truth and sincerity will lead us on our paths to fulfillment. We light this candle of hope because hope will strengthen us to overcome our fears of the uncertainties. We light this candle of friendship and partnership to shine bright among us.
Our congregation has a mission. Our spiritual community lives courage, nurtures wonder, inspires justice, and includes all.
Welcome. Welcome to the right now. The right now includes beauty and pain, joy and sorrow. The right now includes you and me. And all that the right now asks is that we show up. Welcome.
Beloved community is a big idea that talks about the kind of world we want to live in. A world of beauty and goodness and love. Beloved community is where we want to end up in the end. In religion, eschatology is the way we think about where we end up in the end. Radically realized eschatology talks about where we end up in two ways, the already and the not yet. What does that mean? Already is about now. We already live in a world that has beauty and goodness and love. We get to experience that beauty and goodness and love now, and we get to feel grateful for that. But the world is not perfect, and that's the not yet. There is room for more beauty and goodness and love. And the beauty and goodness and love we have now inspires us to create more. It gives us hope for a better world. Because of that beauty and goodness and love that we experience, and the gratitude we feel, we work for a world that is filled with beauty and goodness and love for everyone. This is the only world we have. We see beauty, we feel grateful for that beauty, and we want to create more beauty. We see goodness in the actions of those around us. We feel grateful for that goodness, and we want to do more good in the world. We are loved. We feel grateful for that love. We want to spread more love in the world. We have hope for a more beautiful world because of the beauty we know now. We have hope for more goodness in the world because of the goodness we know now. We have hope for a more loving world because of the love we know now. We work for beloved community because of all the ways that we experience beloved community right now.
At this time in our service, we recognize the joys and concerns of our community. This is a candle of compassion for those in our congregation who are grieving too many losses. May they find the pathways through grief and the courage to take those paths. This is a candle of joy. We make it 2 candles for the birthday of our dear Jacqueline and Jasper. It is such delight to watch you both grow. Here is another birthday candle for Christy Fuller, whose amazingly wise heart changes the world for the better. Here is an encouragement candle to encourage all of the leaders of this congregation who are doing the work. Some of them in front, some of them in the background, all of the people who just keep showing up to do the work, large and small, to keep this place going. And finally, I will light 1 candle for all the joys and concerns which were not shared, yet are felt keenly in our hearts. This morning's prayer is from my colleague, the Reverend Tet Gallardo of the Philippines. This is Tet's prayer for a hurting world. I pray to the light, let the darkness give us beauty. I pray to the divine, let the broken mend us. I pray to the hunter, set the hunted free. I pray to the wise, lose your words sometimes. I pray to the outcast, don't hide from me. I pray to the wild, show me my chains. I pray to my neighbor, let's keep each other safe. I pray to my friends, help me love my enemies. I pray to my enemies, educate me. I pray to my leaders, learn from our needs. I pray to my church, may we be kind to those who don't belong. I pray to my heart, breathe well, the journey is long. Blessed be. Amen.
Good morning. Reverend Nell asked me to tell you a little bit about my personal story as to how I became involved with the International Women's Convocation. Originally, I got an email from Reverend Adele, whom many of you know because she was here for a long time, asking me if I would be interested in serving on one of their committees. And I asked her which one, and she sent me all kinds of information. There were several different committees. Look at one that might fit you, you might have time to do, etc. I picked one, and then they sent me this great big questionnaire. I had to fill out a lot of answers. I also had to do a resume type thing and wait and see if I was accepted. Eventually, quite some time later, I was, and I've been involved with this for nearly a year now. The person who is in charge of the committee with which I'm involved is actually from Transylvania originally, a UU from Transylvania, which many of you know is one of the original places where the Unitarian religion is prominent still and was prominent generations and generations ago. The International Women's Convocation works with other UU organizations and also the UN and several other organizations to further various issues related to women. On Monday, it will be International Women's Day, and so we felt that this would be a good time to talk more about the International Women's Convocation and what it does. One of the things that I really enjoy about being involved is the fact that I meet women from all over the world. We have Zoom meetings every couple of months, and the last one that I was able to attend, there were a woman from France, women from several places in the United States, a woman from Poland, and they were talking about a big conference they were going to have for Unitarian Universalists in Europe. That particular conference this year was all going to be obviously online because of COVID, but it was going to focus on a topic that is a concern throughout the world, and this is violence against women. I think Nell is going to tell you more about what the International Women's Convocation does, but we are also involved with women all over the world. There are UU women in India, the Philippines, all over Europe, you name it, and whatever continent except for Antarctica, there are UU women there.
I want to thank Juliana for her words and for her encouragement that we focus on the IWC this morning. As she mentioned, tomorrow is International Women's Day, and this year the theme is Choose to Challenge. We are all invited to choose to challenge gender bias and inequality. We are all invited to choose to seek out and lift up women's achievements and work to create an inclusive world. All of this was brought to my attention by Juliana and by the International Women's Convocation. Until recently, I didn't know about the IWC, even though I'd had lunch with several of their leaders a couple of years ago. Part of this is my fault because I wasn't fully paying attention, and part of this is because there really are a lot of groups related to the Unitarian Universalist Association. Let me explain. Here at the Amarillo UU Fellowship, you are all part of an individual congregation, and this congregation has agreed to be part of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, okay? You all requested to receive a charter back in 1950, and somehow the original charter got lost and somewhere along the way. And so the UUA sent a replacement one in 1973, and that is now hanging in the office, thanks to Bruce Fielder, who tracked it down and hung it up. Thank you, Bruce. The UUA is the denominational organization here in the US. In Canada, there's the Canadian Unitarian Council. And there are other Unitarian and Unitarian Universalist groups in different countries around the world, and they are all friendly with one another and the UUA. Here in the US, adjacent to the UUA, are many related organizations, including professional groups, like one I belong to, the UU Ministers Association, and LREDA, the Liberal Religious Educators Association. And these are pretty big organizations. They have paid staff and very specific missions, and they work pretty closely with the UUA. But there are also many smaller organizations related to the UUA. They range from conference centers and camps, like the U-Bar-U down in Junction, Texas, and identity groups like Blue, the Black Lives of UU, and Trust, the transgender religious professionals use together. Trust. There are also groups that are focused on specific social justice matters, like the UU Ministry for the Earth and UU Alternatives to the Death Penalty. And among all of them, there's nearly 100 related groups, including the International Women's Convocation, the IWC. Can you see why I might have missed it the first couple of times? All right. But now that I know who they are and why they are, I'm really glad that they are part of the family. Here's some background. The group formed out of a convocation that was held in Houston in 2009 for the Unitarian Universalist, and progressive people of faith. Some 600 women from 17 different countries attended this gathering, and the group was established. At that event, they began fundraising for programs in Africa, and they've since gone on to hold convocations in Transylvania and Bolivia and California. Each gathering drew more women from around the world and sparked more grassroots efforts to empower women and girls in their home countries. Now, all of this might sound similar to what other religious groups do. They take their words and their people out into the world, often to spread their good news to other people elsewhere. This is often done with very good intentions, such as maybe saving souls. But the impact is theological colonialism. And colonization always costs the colonized more than the colonizer. And this is why we, Unitarian Universalists, we support religious freedom and pluralism, and we regard that type of missionizing as problematic. And remember, as Universalists, we already figure that everyone's soul is fine. So that's not what's happening with the IWC. The people who are active in the IWC are already Unitarians, Unitarian Universalists, and people of liberal religious faith. No one is talking about converting anyone to anything here. Okay? Furthermore, no one is importing models of excellence from other cultures to impose upon another culture. We figure that the people who best understand the problems and best understand possible solutions are the people closest to the situation. So, with this understanding, the IWC creates a place for local groups to identify local problems and then ask the larger group to help with funding the solutions. To that end, they have funded leadership development programs for women and girls in Transylvania, northeastern India, and Bolivia. The IWC has provided financial assistance to programs in the Philippines and Romania and India to lift up awareness and prevention of violence against women. Here in the United States, the IWC is funding a project that will help women seeking asylum who are being held in detention. The project aims to build up the resilience of these women and their children and to assist them and equip them through the asylum process. This is work that is happening very close to us here in Texas. And the IWC, the program, is mobilizing local UU women to create a network of advocates for the specific needs of women in detention. Plans are already underway for a fourth convocation to be held in 2024 for the IWC. All of this is pretty cool. Cool, do good work. And it's making a difference. But here's something else that I really admire about this group. They are allowing Unitarian Universalist, and people of liberal faith a place to gather and work together towards the greater good. But they are also creating a place where we can learn about one another's ways of being liberal religious people. The Unitarian Christian women of Transylvania and Hungary and Romania, they know what it's like to be an oppressed religious minority for several hundred years. The Unitarian women in the Khasi Hills of Northeast India are part of a matrilineal culture. We might learn from them. The Unitarian women in the Philippines have a keen understanding of what happens through the oppression of living under patriarchal colonizers. This is important for us Because one of the blind spots that can hinder our growth here in the United States, the Unitarian Universalists here, is that we often tend to feel as though we own this theology, and that our history is all of the history of Unitarian and Universalist theologies, and it's not even close. Yes, we inherited a uniquely American strain of Unitarian Universalist theological expressions, but we don't hold the exclusive rights. We got to get some humility about all this, because it would be the ultimate hypocrisy to claim that somehow we are the ones doing Unitarian and Universalism correctly, and that we are the ones who have to teach the rest of the world how to be UU. So the IWC, by creating spaces for women from around the globe to share and learn and support one another, is also creating a place where women can see how their liberal religious faith inspires and supports their work. It's kind of a little bit like reverse missionary work. Rather than us going to go spread our good news, it's us gathering others to hear their good news. Now, the upside to the pandemic is that everything has gone virtual, and if you are interested in participating in IWC, it's really easy enough to request to join in. They have a twice monthly Tuesday online gathering, and if you are interested in learning how you can become part of their work here in the US, they will find ways to include you. So, for this year's International Women's Day, I choose to challenge you to find out more about the IWC, or even just a little bit more about the way that liberal religious expressions differ across our world. May it be so.
At this time in our service, the congregation makes its financial offering. If you have made a pledge or would like to make a contribution, you can simply mail it into our office, or you can make it online. There's a donate button on our YouTube landing page or on our website, uuamarillo.org. In the upper right-hand corner, you will find a blue donate button that will take you to a place where you can donate securely through PayPal. If you've made a financial pledge this year, thank you, and please keep up your pledge. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
May the fellowship of this hour touch and move our lives until we come again together.
As you go out into the world, please carry these words from Reverend Julia Hovac of Romania. Stepping out from this sacred place, let us feel our blessings. May we walk in peace, breathe in love, build with faith, and dream with hope. Let us seek the light and find the strength so that each of us can become a true friend, a loving brother or sister, a helping neighbor for whom the world is so hungry in these times of need. May the Spirit walk with us as we lend a helping hand. Go in peace. Blessed be.